Hello and welcome to the Citi Newsroom from our studios at number 5 Ola Hansen Lane at Tesano in the Greater Accra region. My name is Kweku Ediama, and coming up, hikes in utility tariffs take off with consumers calling for the decision to be rescinded.
It's like our leaders are not thinking about us. You increase it today. Don't be surprised if tomorrow they come back telling us, you know what, the dollar has gone up again. They still want to increase it.
Organized labor vows to resist any attempt to include pensions in the domestic debt exchange program.
What organized labor is saying is that on 22nd December, the MOU signed between us and the government is final and nothing will have to be changed.
Also coming up, 32-year-old man dies following alleged scuffle involving him, police officers, private security officers, and a civilian at the West Hills Mall.
That we are asking for is justice. That's all that we are asking for. And we will make sure that we go to the full length of this matter to make sure that we get justice for him.
And later, Member of Parliament for Okankwe Central and the Municipal Chief Executive for Okankwe North pledge to support the activities of Citi TV following the relocation of the media house to Tesano.
Everything in our power to at least help you do your work.
Adds to the value of the constituency and the community, because Citi is a big establishment. 2, I'm sure most of you would want to relocate and live around us.
We're grateful that you could choose us. Let's begin with the very first story. And 3 branch managers of retail shop Malcolm have been arrested by the Revenue Protection Task Force from the Ghana Revenue Authority over failure to issue VAT invoice on some items sold to customers. The 3 arrests bring to 10 the total of shop managers arrested over suspicion of bypassing the electronic VAT invoicing system of the tax collector. Citi News' Fred Duho has more in the following report.
The tax collector embarked on a 4-day exercise aimed at curbing system losses. The exercise comes on the back of GRA's implementation of an electronic VAT system hooked to 50 shops. GRA rolled out the electronic VAT invoicing system last year in its quest to track taxes paid on goods purchased. With the current value-added tax rate at about 25%, some shops have adopted schemes to bypass the system in order to keep low prices to attract customers.
It started from the Kaswa office or shop of Malcolm, where that particular manager is in the vehicle as of now, and the second manager here at the Achimota Retail Center of Malcolm is also being invited by the GRA officials. You can see in your show, these are the officials and that of the manager in front being escorted to the vehicle to for his details to be taken, and he will subsequently be arraigned according to what GRA has told us. So in fact, the exercise is progressing and it's a 4-day exercise. And as you may be aware, the GRA has actually set a target of 105 billion Ghana cedis as its revenue target for the year 2023. Henceforth, they are rolling out this kind of exercises to stamp out any illegality from the system and ensure that their revenue target is actually met. Last year, they were able to set a target of 71 billion Ghana cedis. They've been able to achieve that target and also exceeded it by some 3%. They are hoping that they would probably meet their target for the year 2023 and exceed it by all means possible.
You know that Malcolm, Kanishi branch, you are on the EVAT system invoicing that you issue your invoice there. Yes, sir. But our information we have indicates that it's not in all cases that you issue the electronic VAT invoice. We are therefore here to invite you to our office, and we are here with the CID. I think we will proceed with the way forward. So,
to explain why you don't issue the VAT covered EVAT.
If you check the invoice, the customer, so VAT is there in the receipt, EVAT. So what actually?
So let's go. Then you explain.
Let's go to.
So the officials from GRA have officially explained their reasons for being here to the manager of the Achimota shopping mall here at Malcolm, and he's also given indication that he's going to call the head office to inform them about the presence of the GRA officers in their premises before they can proceed to go to the station with them and where his statement would be taken.
The Accra Central Area Enforcement Manager of GRA, Joseph Annan, addressed the media.
We have done some tax purchases on the 50 taxpayers that we have enrolled onto our new EVAT system. Today we visited basically Malcolm shops that we have on the list. So we were at Kaswa, and then we came down to Achimota, and we are here, Kandishi branch. In all these places that we have been to, we have arrested the managers of those branches. And we are sending them to our head office. The CID will take their statements, and then investigation will start from there. As issuance of non-VAT, the EVAT invoice in all the branches, the prescribed invoice that should come out from their system is not what they are issuing out. We took them to our head office. The statements have been taken. They got some people to build them. And of course, investigations have started. This time we are looking forward to, building case against them as quickly as possible so that we can get them to the courts.
So how soon would that be in the coming days?
That one, come again?
In terms of processing them for court, how soon would that be?
That one, I can't answer to that because my job is to get them arrested. And the CID takes over from there. But we are all bent on, making things as fast as possible so that we can get them to the courts.
So what are some of the terms of punishment or the penalty?
Well, now we are looking at 3 tools under our act. We are looking at the REE and then our VAT Act.
The GRA has set a target of 105 billion Ghana cedis revenue target for this year after exceeding that of last year by some 3%. And they are hoping that exercise such as this would seal every loophole in the system and ensure that every shop manager complies with the tax laws of the country. My name is Fred Duho, reporting from Malcolm here for Citi News.
We turn our attention to some other stories, and a 32-year-old Shadrach Alo died on Monday, 30th January 2023, following an alleged scuffle involving him, 2 police officers, 2 private security officers, and a civilian at the West Hills Mall. Citi News' Caleb Kuda and Patience Biding have been following the story and tells us more.
It's a normal business day at the West Hills Mall in the Gan South municipality, even though a life was lost in a brutal manner at the main entrance of the mall only a day before. The management would not release CCTV footage to Citi News, but portions of an amateur footage taken by an eyewitness and cited by Citi News shows Shadrach lying on the floor, handcuffed. Here is an eyewitness describing what he saw.
I was coming out from the parking lot. Then I saw, a crowd. Then I saw the police. They handcuffed a young man. He was on the floor. Then, according to people, they were saying that the police was conducting a search on the young man, and all of a sudden the guy started running. Then he chased the guy, the young man. So apparently he was shouting, thief, thief, thief. Then people helped, apprehend the boy, and he was held.
Who was shouting?
The police. When he was conducting the search, the guy, I think he discovered something in the guy's bag. Then the guy quickly removed unknown substance from, the bag, placed it in his pocket, and they started to run. So he started shouting. As he couldn't get hold of the guy, he started shouting so that people can help, hold him down. The guy was held down, handcuffed. Then they were trying to, search him. Out from nowhere, another young man came out from the mall again. And he was holding what's the name? A taser. Tased this guy in the rib, neck, in the hand, under his feet.
You saw these?
Yeah. Then the police, they were standing there. Then a man was asking, who is this person tasing? Because he was not in uniform. If they are arresting somebody and he happens to be the police, tasing, we will understand. But this guy is a civilian. Then before we
was in civilian clothes.
So before we realized that the suspect on the floor, he was not moving, he was not responding. Then he was taken away.
Managers of the mall would not speak to Citi News. They, however, shared a holding statement indicating that the deceased was accompanied by another man. There is no further comment on the other man, not from the Wager police, who are tight-lipped on the matter, nor the management of the mall. Amo Blay, uncle of the deceased, tells Citi News there were bruises on the body of his nephew, which has since been deposited at the police morgue.
He's supposed to send a small boy, that is our sister in Germany's son, for a DNA test, which is today, because the boy is traveling within the week. And his papers is also being processed for him to travel next week to Germany. We saw some bruises on the body.
The family is demanding justice.
All that we are asking for is justice. That's all that we are asking for. And we will make sure that we go to the full length of this matter to make sure that we get justice for him. Whoever is involved, no one will be left out.
Citi News understands the man who tased the deceased is in police custody. Lawyers of the family have been speaking to Citi News.
There are challenges of what we call occupiers liability in terms of the West Hills Mall management, because this incident happened at West Hills Mall, and we believe that if they had taken due care and their security officers had acted more professionally, this wouldn't have happened. Then the complicity of armed police officers who were supposed to have protected, the victim, rather actively participated, holding him down, handcuffing him on the floor, allowing others to use tasers on him until he passed out and was pronounced dead on arrival. So clearly, I believe that all persons who were actively involved, we are demanding that they are investigated. In fact, they are arrested, investigated, and prosecuted. And we have instructions to hold criminal watching brief for the victim and the victim's family. And not only that, we are also considering a civil action against both West Hills Mall and the Ghana Police Service.
The Police Professional Standards Bureau has commenced investigations into the allegation and has contacted Madame Perpetua Didier to assist in investigations. We would like to assure the public of a thorough investigation into the matter. For the family of Shadrach, they will not relent until all persons involved in his gruesome killing are apprehended and made to face the law. For Citi News, I am Caleb Kuda.
Now, a family of 3 on Wednesday were burned to death in a domestic fire at Bawku in the Nwabeja municipality of the Ashanti region. The deceased, a 28-year-old mother, Abigail Menu, and her 2 daughters, 9-year-old Nora Yeboah and 6-year-old Philippa Yeboah, were reported to have been trapped in the fire. Ashanti regional correspondent Fatih Aminu Ibrahim reports.
An eyewitness, Stephen Wundomo, says they heard the victims screaming and calling for help, but were only able to rescue 2 out of the 5 persons who were trapped in the fire.
Around 3:50 a.m., I heard some woman crying, so I quickly rushed there. When I got there, I saw that there is a fire in the house. So we were trying to help, and we heard some sound in the different room, shouting, "Yeshio, Yeshio, we are burning." So we were trying to break and enter and rescue them. But they used some metals to block the back of the door, so we couldn't break through and rescue them. So, but we are able to rescue the landlady and the daughter, which about 12. The daughter is 12 years, but I don't actually know the age of the landlady, but she's about 40 years. So the landlady's firstborn, who is 28 years, and the 2 daughters, 9 years and 6 years, we were not able to rescue them, and they burned too.
Family members and friends were inconsolable as the charred bodies were conveyed by the police to the morgue. The timely intervention by fire officers prevented the fire from spreading to neighboring houses. The affected house was, however, completely destroyed by the inferno. The Ashanti Regional Fire Commander, ACF-01 Henry Giwa, who visited the fire scene, noted that his outfit has commenced investigations into the incident to ascertain the actual cause. He, however, stated that preliminary investigations show that the building had been fortified against possible armed robbery attacks, but there were limited exit routes which led to the casualties.
What we can say is it looks as if because of the challenge with the thieves and armed robberies around this place, they fortified their building to ensure that they are not able to break into it.
The incident comes just a few weeks after a police officer and his family perished in a similar fire incident at Apromasi in the Ashanti region.
This has been an emotional moment for family members and friends of the deceased. But for now, officers from the Ghana National Fire Service have commenced investigations to ascertain the actual cause of fire. For Citi News, Fatih Aminu Ibrahim, Bawku.
In more stories, a section of the public has expressed disappointment in the decision to increase water and electricity tariffs. The hikes commenced on February 1, 2023. Now, some residents in Accra, however, say the decision must be rescinded due to the high cost of living in the country currently. Citi News' Akosia Otre has more in the following report.
The Public Regulatory Commission last month announced an increment in tariffs effective February 1, 2023. According to the PURC, the decision was informed after rigorous analysis and extensive consultations. The Commission cited the city depreciation, the soaring inflation, and also issues with power generation as reasons for approving the increment. According to the PURC, electricity has been increased by 30% and 8.3% for water for the first quarter of the year. Citi News went round to some vending points to conduct checks if indeed it had taken effect. Derek Nkansa is a prepaid vendor, confirming the increment to Citi News.
I opened a shop around 7. When I was opening a shop, they were standing here wanting to buy people. So let's say majority of them, beginning of every month like this, the credit, whether you have credit or not, they just take any amount you have on it, just take it out. So at least you can come and purchase more. So when I came in the morning, they were standing here, so they were complaining about the new tax. They were complaining. Yeah, most of them think we are the ones who don't sell the exact amounts they buy. They get it. Because it's a machine we use. So the moment you read a card and you input the amount you input is the amount that gives you.
Consumers and business owners are also not excited about the increment.
For how long would they always be increasing stuff like this? It's like our leaders are not thinking about us. You increase it today. Don't be surprised if tomorrow they come back telling us, you know what, the dollar has gone up again. They still want to increase it.
If we know the minimum,
I just say, we take effect. In February, so I'm say, okay, be a cost, maybe about 900 and I say 700. But those time in them spending 600 a month. Yeah, how it's too bad though. It's too bad because shopkeeper way mean used to be our a condition way. They made me answer means me increase me way in a kakra, me charges in a kakra.
The Institute for Energy Security, IES, is also lamenting the impact of the implementation on the consumer.
We shouldn't overburden the consumer so that when you push the consumer to the wall, what you are likely to see is evading of payment of tariffs. And that is where you begin to see people doing illegal connections and all that. So you should balance the assumptions and also work with the the generation companies and transmission companies to work on the losses they make, because all that is considered in the assumptions.
The Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, even though has stated its reasons for the increase in utility tariff, a section of the public also believes that the PURC could have been considerate in the increment, having in mind the current economic hardships. Reporting for Citi News, Akosia Otre.
Now, some electricity consumers in the Ashanti region are calling on the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, to work towards urgently addressing network challenges which have been causing many households and businesses to be without power for days in recent weeks. Following the increment of electricity tariffs by 30%, they want authorities to ensure improved service. Our Middle Belt Bureau Chief Edward Oponmafo reports.
The announcement by the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PURC, that electricity and water tariffs will be increased by 30% and 8.3% respectively has started taking effect. Speaking to some consumers in Kumasi, they describe the timing for the increment as very bad, taking into account the current harsh economic situation facing the country. For electricity consumers in particular, they want the increase in tariffs to be accompanied by improved services.
They should let their network should flow, right? So that in case when we come to buy some, so we will get some, right? Because when the network is not flowing, and at the same time they have increased their prices. Let's say, for instance, maybe I have customers to serve in my shop and there's no lights, and I go back to the shop and I couldn't serve them. At the end of the day, I'll lose because there's no lights and they have increased the price too.
The network, you see the transportation, like people will be coming from far places to come and buy their light, but when they come and they say the network is really bad, so they have to improve. You'll be taking transport and come here that we want to buy our lights, and later on they will say that there is no network. I don't know why there is a reason for them saying there is no network. Sometimes when I come, I don't understand why they always say there is no network. There have to be a possible solution for this.
If they are incrementing, it's going to provide us good services to us. Like sometimes you can be say that there is no service. So if this 30% they are doing, it's going to let us gain more services to have access to it, our electrical utility. I think that is fine. So if for some weeks it doesn't work good for us, I think that is very, very appalling. It won't help us at all.
An ECG prepaid vendor, Angela Dakwa, on her part, is calling on relevant authorities to adequately resource the IT department of ECG to prevent issues of network failure.
The problem will be from the IT personnel. They should be able to notify whether, let's say, this period, there will be a breakdown in the network. So I think they should come up with, they should be able to utilize the mobile app so that customers will be able to get access to the network.
Many consumers of electricity and water say the timing for the increment is very bad. For electricity consumers in particular, they are complaining about the fact that there are always network challenges that they face which affect their power supply. And so they want authorities to put measures in place to address that. For Citi News, I'm Edward Oponmafo, Kumasi.
Now, fuel prices have seen an increase in the second pricing window of this year, which took effect on February 1. This comes after the Institute for Energy Security, IES, predicted the price of petrol, diesel and liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, will increase between 7 and 13%. Citi News' and Shirley Ziwu has been interacting with stakeholders in the energy sector on what may have accounted for this increment.
On the morning of February 1, 2023, consumers of petroleum products witnessed an increase in prices. Prices of the product saw a marginal increase in the first pricing window in January 2023. Currently, a litre of petrol and diesel are selling about 15 Ghana cedis, from an initial price of 13 and 14 Ghana cedis respectively, at various fuel outlets like Guel, Total and Shell. The Institute of Energy Security, which predicted the current increase by 7 and 13%, says the depreciation of the cedi, coupled with the international benchmark price for crude oil, are major contributing factors to the increase.
Ever since we came back into the first pricing window of January 2023, the cedi, even though the gains were made, however, the cedi had also lost that strength it had at the beginning at the latter part of the year and started depreciating again. And so this was one of the contributing factors to some of the price adjustments we are seeing. But clearly in the computation of the price, there are some factors that we look out for. One is the international Brent prices of crude products. Then we have the international S&P platform benchmarks, which are also prices of petroleum products in the market. So over the last pricing window, which was closed on Friday, we saw that there are still going to be some increment.
The IES proposed a review of taxes on petroleum products, introduction of subsidy into the price build-up as a way of reducing the price increase.
And strongly is to work on our domestic refinery, which is Tema Oil Refinery. That we believe that are some of the things that can bring some respite to customers going forward. But other than that, we could also look at the economy, which is coming up strongly. The dollar is continuously gaining strength against our cedi, and this is one of the strongest factors. There are times we make some gains on the international market, that is prices drop, but because the cedi continuously depreciates, you don't see it reflecting.
With this increase, passengers of public transport have expressed fears of an increase in transport fares, but the Industrial Relations Officer of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, Abbas Imoro, has allayed those fears.
We don't usually change prices immediately after increment in fuel prices. We have at least 10% increment as our yardstick. We normally doesn't even consider that. At times, we'll get to even 40, 50% before we start talking about increment in lorry fares. And we always say this, that we are not happy with the increment in lorry fares. We still want the fuel price to be reduced.
He, however, pleaded with the government to reduce or take off what he termed taxes, which have over the years lost their usefulness to reduce the price of fuel.
Taxes, margins and levies on the build-up of the fuel, we spoke about it, and we have been speaking about it that yes, we wanted some of these taxes to be reduced so that the fuel prices shall be reduced.
Fuel prices have been increased twice this year already, and experts are attributing this to the depreciation of the Ghana cedis. They are calling on the government to reduce some taxes on petroleum products to reduce the prices of fuel. Reporting for Citi News, my name is Shirley Ziwu.
You're still watching the Citi Newsroom here on Citi TV. Still to come. Organized labor vows to resist any attempt to include pensions in the domestic debt exchange program. We have details coming up shortly. Kindly stay with me.
Pepsodent is aware that globally, 1 in 2 children suffer from cavities. That's why by giving her Pepsodent, you're not only protecting her teeth, but also helping her grow up and thrive at every stage of her life with a healthy and confident smile, so she can succeed and achieve all of her dreams. Because every smile matters.
This is the neighborhood I'm having my twins.
The very reason why I took it for us. See, the price is very good and it's spacious to contain all of us.
Alphabet City. Now I'm a landlord. I don't pay rent. And my Airbnb business is booming.
To me, Pamini, bank and I'm say Alphabet City. The pension pay me 20%. The payment plan, I want to share my just say very smooth.
This is a healthy place to raise our families and creating peace. Come on, be my neighbor.
Alphabet City, the ABC of Home Sweet Home.
Alphabet City is a classy and peaceful gated community in Sakumono. We have 24/7 top-notch security and high-quality access roads. We have 3 bedrooms and 2 washrooms, 3 bedrooms and 3 washrooms with boys' quarters. We have 3 bedrooms and 4 washrooms. We have 2 bedrooms and 2 washrooms, all with beautiful kitchens and kitchenettes. Call Alphabet City on 0240-111119 or 050-44-99999. Alphabet City, the ABC of Home Sweet Home.
Oh, today he has been extra sweet, and the way he looks at me.
I have done everything by the book. It's on. Hey, but I have to get some condoms, Charlie.
Using a condom will protect you and your partner from HIV, STIs, and unplanned pregnancy. Condoms are an effective way for protection against HIV infection. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission and Ghana Health Service.
You're welcome back to the program. Now, organized labor has assured workers that it will resist any attempts to include pensions in the domestic debt exchange program. Labor managed to get the government to exempt pension funds from the exchange program after a series of threats of industrial action. Now, in a press release announcing the extension of the deadline for the domestic debt exchange program, government said engagements were ongoing with labor. However, there are fears that the government struggles to attain 80% of bondholders to sign onto the program. Pension funds may be roped in. Citi News' Charles Osukumi has more.
When government announced a debt operation to exchange old bonds for new ones maturing in 2027, 2029, 2032 and 2037 at 5% coupon rate in 2024, and 10% from 2025 until maturity, organized labor rejected it. Various labor unions asked government to completely exempt pension funds, threatening industrial action if their demands were refused. Government obliged, And in a memorandum signed on December 22 between the Finance Ministry, Labour Ministry and the labour unions, government granted exemption to the pension funds of organised labour. The domestic debt exchange program, however, continues to face resistance and difficulties in attaining the 80% of bonds needed to reach the goal of 55% debt to GDP ratio by 2028. These difficulties to get investors to sign on to the program have resulted in the extension of the program on 4 occasions, the latest to February 7. While announcing the extension, government also said engagements with labour were ongoing, but there are fears pension funds could be brought back into the conversations, but the labour unions have sought to allay the fears of workers.
Issues that have not been discussed, it's out there that organised labour discussed and made a statement and so on and so forth. So that is why we want the public to know that we have not had any meeting with Honorable John Kuma, who was heard on air this morning stating so many things. He was saying that government has engaged organised labour and you have agreed on something, which, you have not heard of. Meanwhile, he was not part of the meetings that you have heard. What organised labour is saying is that on 22nd December, the MOU signed between us and the government is final and nothing will have to be changed.
Mr. Joshua Ansa also encouraged government to implement recommendations made by the labour unions.
Point 2 of the MOU states that we will continue to engage. We have started engagement. We have given them so many suggestions. We expect that government should also go into that options.
Now, on Tuesday, government released a press statement announcing the extension of the domestic debt exchange program to February 7th. Now, in that press release, it also mentioned that engagements were still ongoing with organised labour in accordance with the MOU that was signed between labour and government. Today, organised labour have sought to clarify that for them, they maintain their position that they want complete exemption from the program and that discussions with government has nothing to do with their pension funds. For Citi News, Charles Osukumi reporting.
Let's do more stories now. And the Member of Parliament for Bawku Central, Mahama Yariga, has condemned the military for indiscriminately killing 7 people in Bawku. The 7 persons were allegedly killed by the military after several reports of gunfire across the Bawku township on Tuesday evening. In a statement, Mr. Ayariga said the military, in an attempt to maintain calm and discipline, shot indiscriminately into locals who were running for cover and also attacked innocent people, leading to the death of the 7 individuals. The 7 included a young boy who was also burned to death after grass close to where he was hiding caught fire and burned him to death. Let's head to the presidency now, because President Akufo-Addo has given the Minister for Employment and Labour Relations, Ignatius Bawku, an additional role as Minister responsible for pensions. The appointment, which is in accordance with Section 211 of the National Pensions Act 2008 Act 766, will see the Minister steering the affairs of the National Pensions Regulatory Authority, NPRA, and the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, SNIT, effective January 30, 2022. Well, my colleague, Ni Ayukwe Okai, has been following the story for us, and he has more. Ni Ayukwe Okai, kindly tell us what more you have.
During proceedings on Wednesday at the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament, the Minister for Employment and Labour Relations, Ignatius Bawku, announced that President Akufo-Addo has designated him as the Minister for Pensions. To this end, he has an additional role of overseeing the affairs of pensions and the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, SNIT. The Ghana Shippers Authority under the Ministry of Transport also appeared before the committee, and officials indicated that they are unable to retrieve an amount of over 1 million Ghana cedis that was invested into the defunct Gold Coast Fund Management Limited.
Cocoa Board had invested 7.5 million into Gold Coast securities. It was only 200,000 which was paid by the receiver to them. The balance of 7.3 is something that we're not sure whether they can get the money back. That the receiver, which is the PricewaterhouseCoopers, can only pay this investment as and when funds become available from funds they will realize from the auction of the properties of the company. That is it.
Meanwhile, some of the disgruntled customers of the defunct Gold Coast Fund Management Limited, who were following up on the court case, actually spoke to Citi News on the severe hardship that they have been subjected to as a result of the situation.
There's no hope because how the court case is going, it can take years. It can take years. There's no hope at all. And it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking because that is our hard-earned money that we did the investment with. And because of this situation, actually, most of our children are in the house. My son's supposed to go to school this year, university, but there's no money. Not that I'm a lazy person or my husband is a lazy person, no, but because the money is locked up to now.
Once we are pensioned, we don't have any source of money. And we need those money to at least take care of our children and our wife and family. So the government should still at least do it possible for us to keep, at least see that the case will run out, or even possible, pay us before continuing the liquidation order.
Reporting from Parliament, my name is Ni Ayikwe Okain for Citi News.
Now, President Akufo-Addo says his government will continue to address the many challenges confronting the Ghana Armed Forces. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo says numerous interventions by his government since 2017 have helped improve the condition of personnel. The president was speaking at a number of military events on Wednesday. Citi News' Samira Faye has more.
The president began the day with the commissioning of a 300-bed housing facility at the 37 Military Hospital for Young Soldiers. The facility, which will be a temporary accommodation for personnel, was funded by the Jospon Group of companies. Nana Akufo-Addo says government takes seriously the accommodation challenge of military personnel in the country and doing all it can to address it.
As we are all aware, the armed forces has over the years been confronted with a number of infrastructural difficulties. Upon assumption of office in January 2017, my government rolled out a number of measures to help deal with these challenges facing the armed forces. These include phases 1 and 2 of the barracks regeneration project and the military housing projects, which I launched in 2017 and 2021, respectively. Government is also striving to complete stalled SNET and Ministry of Defense projects commenced in 2016 to add to the accommodation stock.
Still at the Burma camp, President Akufo-Addo also commissioned a new office complex for the Chief of Defense Staff and presented some vehicles to the Ghana Armed Forces.
Let's do some politics now. On the National Democratic Congress, the NDC is calling on the Public Accounts Committee to expedite plans geared towards the hearing of how government spent COVID-19 funds. According to the party, the NPP government has greatly misused the funds the nation received during the COVID-19 period to fight the pandemic. Citi News' Philip Nilate has more in the following report.
The call to the Public Accounts Committee by the National Democratic Congress follows the Auditor General's report that government received 21.8 billion cedis to fight COVID-19, but only utilized 11 billion cedis of the amount to fight the pandemic. Addressing the press at the Moment of Truth series at the NDC headquarters in Accra, the National Communications Officer of the party, Sami Jimfi, called on the Auditor General and the Special Prosecutor to take the necessary actions against persons who were involved in the mismanagement of the COVID-19 funds. He says Nana Akufo-Addo must terminate the appointment of the Finance, Health, Information Ministers, CEO of the National Food Buffer Stock Company, among others who have been cited in the Auditor General's report.
You must immediately fire the Minister of Finance, the Health Minister, the Minister of Information, the CEO of the National Food Buffer Stock Company, and all other public officials, be them political appointees or civil servants, who have been cited in the Auditor General's report for violating the laws of the country in their expenditure of COVID-19 funds.
Mr. Jemfi further stated that the NDC will prosecute the Chief Executive Officer of the National Food Buffer Stock Company for being cited in the report for over-invoicing should he fail to refund the money to the nation.
Regrettably, instead of exercising his power to surcharge and disallow those responsible, the Auditor General feebly prefers to, as it were, recommend to the CEO of the National Food Buffer Stock Company to refund the excess money. This we find very objectionable. We hereby serve notice to the CEO of the Buffer Stock Company to, in his own interest, refund the said funds immediately or consider himself a candidate for prosecution when power changes hands.
The party is therefore calling on the Special Prosecutor, the Auditor General and the Public Accounts Committee to take the necessary actions. Reporting for Citi News from the NDC headquarters, my name is Philip Latte.
This is still the Citi Newsroom here on Citi TV with me, Bawku, Ediama, and still to come. Member of Parliament for Okankwi Central and the Municipal Chief Executive for Okankwi North pledge to support the activities of Citi TV following the relocation of the media house to Tesano. We have details coming up shortly. Kindly stay.
This Valentine's season, we are expressing our love and dedication to those who mean the most to us in ways that are unmistakable. Join us on the 14th of February at Pediasi Valley Resort for phenomenal meals and exhilarating music enjoyed under the starry night skies. This is sure to turn a spark into a roaring flame. Don't miss out on our Treasure in Moonlight packages that run from the 13th to the 16th of February to absolutely melt your partner's heart and show just how much you care. Love brewed in the valley just got sweeter. For inquiries, please call 0540-125-555 or 0540-125-554. Pediasi Valley Resort. Live life.
Welcome to Jamila Home, a signature business that houses the most luxurious antique and contemporary furniture. We stock presidential, royal, ministerial, and executive furniture with complimentary decor. We have a wide selection of beautifully maintained pieces, such as the amazing Windsor chairs, with one of the largest choices of genuine Regency and Victorian dining furniture, which once stood for England's finest craftsmanship. renowned across the world for its luxurious and detailed features, alongside a brilliant blend of Italian contemporary Versace royal set in absolute elegance. Visit our website www.jamilahome.com. Contact us via phone call and WhatsApp on 0302 437 228 and 0205 555 525. We are located at 13 Westland Boulevard, Accra. Jamila Home, your first and best furniture showroom in Ghana and the world.
You're welcome back to the program. Let's do more stories now. And the Member of Parliament for Okankwe Central and the Municipal Chief Executive for Okankwe North have pledged to support the activities of Citi TV. This follows the relocation of the media house to Tesano, which falls within their jurisdiction. There is more in the following report.
The visit to the office of the Municipal Chief Executive of the Okankwe North Municipal Assembly forms part of steps taken by management of Citi TV to promote a relationship with stakeholders and authorities within the catchment area housing the offices of the media house. The media house moved to its new location in the first week of 2023. At the meeting, the managing director of Citi TV, Samuel Atamensa, espoused the reason for the visit.
We thought that one, you are the landlord of the place, and then secondly, a neighbor. So officially, we have come to let you know that we have moved to the area and we submit our activities to the dictates of the assembly.
The municipal chief executive, who warmly welcomed the delegation, noted that the relocation of Citi TV studios to Tesano will be beneficial to the municipality.
We are happy you are joining us, within the vicinity. We were looking forward for something like this for quite some time now. This is the time that we are getting our own. Do everything in our power to at least help you do your work the way you want to.
On his part, General Manager of Citi TV, Bernard Avle, urged the Assembly to be inspired by the presence of the station and work towards becoming a model assembly.
I really want to just encourage you to make Okankwe North a centerpiece of excellence so that the presenters will be, Firma will say, for example, in the assembly that we are here, they collect this revenue, 90% IGF, they do this, that kind of thing. It's very good.
After this, the Member of Parliament for Okankwe Central, Patrick Yabuama, paid a working visit to the premises of the station. VMP provided lunch for the staff of Citi TV as a welcoming gesture. Mr. Buama believes the move will increase prospects of the constituency as a hub for residential and commercial purposes.
It adds to the value of the constituency and the community because Citi is a big establishment. Two, I'm sure most of you would want to relocate and live around us. It goes to help owners of property to earn some rental income from you. 3, job opportunities. 4, it also enhances the economy of the community. Those who sell around, those who trade around, the schools around, and what have you, the financial institutions around. They're all going to benefit from you.
CEO of Coastal Development Authority, Jerry Ahmed Shaib, believes the expansion of Citi TV's studios to Tesano should be welcomed.
It gives us the platform to also market Ghana and the people within Ghana. So expansion is great. Expansion brings employment, it brings attraction, it brings even foreign exchange. And so you now would go somewhere to Deutsche Welle that you partner to go and do something and bring some foreign exchange backing. So that's all part of the expansion and the benefits that come thereof.
Officials of Citi TV and Okaikwe North Municipal Assembly have agreed to work together towards ensuring a development of their respective institutions as well as Ghana at large. Reporting for Citi News, Hansen Ajaman.
And that's it for today's edition of the Citi Newsroom on Citi TV. Do remember that our website, citinewsroom.com, has more information on our top stories and more. Subscribe to CityTube on YouTube for more exclusive video content from Citi TV. You can also watch Citi TV on DSTV channel 363 and on GoTV channel 182. My name is Kweku Ediama, and so many thanks for your company.